Did you hear that? That's the sound of progress in silence. While the world is busy talking, comparing, competing, and chasing validation, champions are quietly building, focusing on themselves, sharpening their minds, and walking in purpose. You don't need to announce your every move. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Because real growth is loud on the inside, but quiet on the outside. When you focus on yourself, your healing, your hustle, your vision, you stop being distracted by noise and start becoming unstoppable. The loudest person in the room isn't always the strongest. Sometimes the most dangerous person is the one who says nothing but does everything. This is your call to lock in, level up, and let your results speak. Stay silent, not because you have nothing to say, but because you refuse to waste your energy on what doesn't serve you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them underestimate you. Your focus is your superpower. Your discipline is your weapon. And when the time comes, your success will speak louder than any words ever could. So breathe deep, sit tall, and tune in, because it's time to rise without noise, build without bragging, and focus on you like your future depends on it. Because it does. Listen, I need you all to hear me on this. Too many people are out here wasting precious time obsessing over what everybody else is doing. Scrolling, clicking, comparing, watching someone else's highlight while your own life sits on pause. Tell me this. What are you doing? Sitting on the sidelines, spectating somebody else's success instead of getting up and creating your own. Let me break it down for you. Focus on yourself. Stop announcing every move before you make it. Stop begging for applause before you've even taken the first step. Not everybody deserves a front row seat to your dreams. Why? Because small-minded people don't fuel greatness. They suffocate it. They'll call your vision unrealistic until the moment it becomes undeniable. Silence isn't weakness, it's power. The most dangerous people in the room aren't the loudest. They're the ones who move in the shadows, sharpening their craft while the world sleeps. They don't need validation. They don't need permission. They just do. So ask yourself, are you here to talk or to win? Because real success doesn't come from likes, comments, or approval. It comes from grinding in silence while doubters assume you're doing nothing. It comes from staying locked in while the distracted stay stuck. Close the tabs, mute the noise, outwork them in secret, and when you finally rise, let your success be the only announcement you ever make. Let me tell you something real right now. Too many people out here are drowning in self-doubt, waiting for some magical sign of approval before they chase their dreams. They hesitate, they second guess. They hold back their own greatness because they're too busy worrying about what other people might think. They want reassurance. They want someone to pat them on the back and say, yeah. But here's the cold, hard truth. If you keep waiting for validation, you'll never move. You'll stay stuck, paralyzed, looking around for permission, instead of creating your own damn path. Validation is a trap. It makes you believe your success depends on how others see you. It tricks you into thinking, if people don't approve of my goals, maybe they're not worth pursuing. But let me hit you with a reality check. Your dreams don't need a permission slip. You don't need a standing ovation before you even take the first step. Think about it. Some of the most successful people in the world didn't have a crowd cheering for them in the beginning. They didn't wait for someone to say, yeah, go ahead, that's a great idea. No, they moved in silence. They bet on themselves when nobody else would. They built empires out of pure belief because they knew their vision didn't need a committee vote to be valid. So ask yourself, who are you waiting for? Whose approval matters more than your own? Stop giving other people the power to decide whether you're worthy. The only sign you need is the fire inside you. The only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. Now, are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to go out there and take what's yours? The clock's ticking. What's it going to be? Listen up, because this right here is the game changer. The greatest achievers in history didn't wait for fanfare or applause. They moved forward on pure belief when nobody else could see what they saw. That's the difference between those who make it and those who watch from the sideline. Here's the brutal truth. We've become validation junkies. Posting our plans online like we need likes to certify our dreams as worthy. Running our goals by friends, family, even strangers. And if they don't light up with excitement, we start second-guessing everything. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this is a dumb idea. But let me drop this truth bomb. If you need everyone to see your vision before you believe in it, you've already lost. That dream wasn't given to them. It was planted in you for a reason. Not everyone will get your journey. Not everyone will see what you see when you look in the mirror every morning. And that's okay, because the world isn't changed by people who wait for permission slips. History is written by those who believed when no one else did. Your potential isn't determined by someone else's limited imagination. That fire in your gut, that idea that won't leave you alone, that's your compass. Stop looking for confirmations and start trusting what's already inside you. The question isn't whether others believe. The question is, do you believe enough to go get it anyway? That's where real greatness begins. Now, what are you going to do about it? Let me tell you something you need to hear right now. Some people will doubt you, not because there's anything wrong with your dream, but because they can't even imagine themselves doing what you're bold enough to pursue. Others will hit you with their own fears, warning you it's too risky, too hard, or that most people fail. And if you're not careful, you'll let their fears infect your mindset. You'll hesitate. You'll second guess yourself. You'll stand at the edge of your breakthrough and pause. But here's the truth you've got to lock into your spirit. Their doubts have nothing to do with you. Their opinions don't hold power over your destiny. Some of the most legendary moves you'll ever make in life, you'll make them alone. No cheering section, no hype squad, just you, your faith, and your relentless drive. The moment you stop begging for approval is the moment you become unstoppable. You stop molding yourself to fit other people's expectations. You stop asking, do you think I can do this? And start declaring, watch me. You realize deep in your bones that you don't need a committee vote to validate your dreams. Their support isn't required for your success. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them shake their heads while you're out there building. Because while they're busy questioning you, you'll be too busy proving them wrong. Now, whose voice matters more? Theirs or yours? The choice is yours. Make it count. Listen up, because this right here will set you free. The only approval that really matters, it's not your mama's, not your friends, not some strangers on the internet. It's yours. How many times have you frozen when opportunity knocked because you were too busy worrying about people's reactions? How many chances have you let slip through your fingers because you were paralyzed by what will they think? All those hours, days, years you've spent begging for permission, that was time you could have been building your empire. Here's the raw truth straight from Scripture. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. Success doesn't come from permission slips. It comes from bold action when nobody else sees your vision. It's about trusting that gut deep knowing, even when your knees shake. It's about tuning out the naysayers and doing what you were called to do, no matter how crazy it looks to everybody else. Another verse to fuel your fire. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Psalm 138:8. The moment you stop waiting for outside validation is the moment you seize your divine destiny. Because when it's all said and done, the only belief that truly moves mountains is the belief you have in yourself. So I ask you, how much longer will you stand at the crossroads waiting for a sign? The sign is your heartbeat. The permission slip is your passion. The time is now. Will you move The world is full of spectators, but history remembers the ones who dared to step into the arena alone. Every great breakthrough, every legacy worth leaving, started with a single soul who refused to let doubt, theirs or anyone else's, dictate their destiny. Want to know the secret of those who changed the game? They understood this: validation is an illusion. The crowd's applause fades, trends change, opinions flip like weather vanes in the wind. But that fire in your spirit, that unshakable knowing that says, this is why I'm here, that's your North Star. Let me remind you of two ironclad truths. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. And number two, faith without works is dead. James 2:26. You've been equipped with everything you need, not when the crowd cheers, but right now as you read these words. The dream in your heart wasn't placed there by accident. The skills in your hands weren't given to gather dust. The ideas in your mind weren't meant to be diluted by committee. So here's your crossroads moment. Will you keep waiting for some imaginary green light from people who can't even see your vision? Or will you finally accept that your belief in yourself is the only fuel you'll ever need? The arena gates are open. The divine is cheering. Your future self is begging you to move. Let me break this down for you, because it's time to wake up. One of the biggest mistakes people make: they talk their dreams to death before they even take the first step. They announce every move, share every plan, and broadcast every idea to friends, family, co-workers, heck, sometimes even strangers on the internet. Why? Because they want that quick hit of encouragement, that pat on the back, that little ego boost before they've even done anything. But here's the cold hard truth. Talking too much drains your power. The more you spill your plans, the more you invite opinions. And not all opinions are good for you. The second you open your mouth, people start pouring their doubts, their fears, their unsolicited advice all over your vision. Some will tell you it won't work. Some will hit you with their own baggage. Some will straight up laugh in your face. And before you know it, you're second guessing yourself, hesitating, wasting energy, defending an idea instead of executing it. Silence is your secret weapon. The most dangerous people in the room aren't the loudest. They're the ones moving in the shadows, stacking wins while everyone else is busy talking. They don't need applause before the work is done. They don't need validation to validate their hustle. They just go. So ask yourself, are you here to talk or to win? Because real success doesn't come from announcing your plans. It comes from surprising people with your results. Stop explaining. Stop seeking approval. Stop giving doubters front row seats to your dreams. Shut up, grind, and let your success make the noise. The world doesn't need to hear your plans. It needs to see your work. Now, what are you going to do about it? Let me tell you why silence is your superpower. Every time you announce your plans before executing them, you're giving away your energy. You're letting the pressure of expectations drain your motivation before you've even begun. Think about it. How many times have you told someone your big idea only to feel that initial excitement fade when they responded with skepticism or indifference? That's your momentum leaking out. The greatest creators, innovators, and game changers didn't build their legacies in the spotlight of other people's opinions. They worked in the quiet. They failed in private. They refined their craft where no one could see the struggle. And when they emerged, the world had no choice but to pay attention. Here's the raw truth. Your dreams are too valuable to be left at the mercy of other people's limited imaginations. The moment you share your vision with someone who can't see what you see, you invite doubt into your process. And doubt is the silent killer of potential. This isn't about being secretive. It's about being strategic. It's about protecting your belief in yourself until that belief becomes unshakable. When you work in silence, you're not hiding. You're incubating. You're giving your dreams the space to grow roots strong enough to withstand any storm of criticism. The world will have plenty to say when you succeed. But right now is your time to build, to try, to fail and try again. Away from the eyes of those who would use your stumbles as proof that you should quit. So here's your challenge. For every big goal you have, give yourself the gift of silent execution. Let your work speak for itself. Let your results be the announcement. And watch how much further you go when you're no longer feeding your energy to the opinions of others. The question isn't, who should I tell? The question is, what should I build today? Now get to work. Let me tell you why silence is your greatest ally. Every word you speak about your dreams before they're realized is energy you could have poured into making them happen. The moment you share your vision with someone who doesn't understand it, you invite doubt into your mind. And doubt is the enemy of action. The Bible says it perfectly in Proverbs 29:11. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. The most powerful moves aren't announced, they're executed. The greatest successes aren't debated, they're demonstrated. Think about it. When you broadcast your plans, you're not just sharing an idea, you're giving people permission to weigh in on something sacred. Suddenly, their fears become your hesitation. Their skepticism becomes your second guessing. And before you know it, you're explaining instead of executing, defending instead of building. But here's the truth. Your breakthrough doesn't need an audience. Your hustle doesn't require witnesses. The most transformative work happens in the quiet, where there are no opinions, no critics, just you and your relentless commitment to the vision burning inside you. So stop talking, start doing. Let your results speak louder than your words ever could. The world doesn't need to hear your plans, it needs to see your work. Now ask yourself, are you going to keep seeking approval, or are you going to start seeking results? The choice is yours. The time is now. Move in silence and let your success be the only announcement you ever make. Let me tell you something real about power, the kind that changes your life forever. Silence isn't just quiet, it's armor. When you move in silence, you're untouchable. Your energy stays locked in. Your focus stays razor sharp. You stop wasting time begging people to believe in your dreams, and instead you prove them wrong with action. No debates, no explanations, just unshakable progress. Here's the raw difference between those who win and those who watch. Winners don't talk, they do. While everyone else is busy announcing their plans, successful people are busy outworking them. They let their results drop, like mic moments. No warning, just undeniable proof. But listen, this isn't just about focus, it's about protection. Not everyone cheering you on is clapping for you. Some people smile to your face, but whisper doubts behind your back. Some supporters get real uncomfortable when you start rising, because your growth holds up a mirror to their stagnation. They'll hit you with slick questions like, "You sure you can do that?" Or "Maybe you should play it safe." Here's the truth. Their doubt has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So why give them a front row seat to your hustle? Why feed them details they'll just weaponize? Keep your grind private. Let your success shock them. And when you win, let your victory speak so loud their doubts drown in the applause. Silence isn't secrecy, it's strategy. Now, who's really ready to lock in and win? Let me break it down even deeper, because this is where champions are made. That voice inside you whispering, "Keep going," that's your competitive edge. The moment you trade chatter for action, you activate a different level of power. Think about it. Lions don't announce their hunt. Storms don't negotiate before they roar. Real force moves in divine silence. Some people will claim they want your success until your light starts outshining theirs. Then suddenly, Their support comes with strings attached, backhanded compliments, subtle discouragement, or that toxic favorite, I'm just being realistic. Here's the game changer. When you stop seeking approval, you become approval perfect. No more bending your vision to fit small minds. No more shrinking your dreams to comfort insecure spectators. Your path isn't a democracy. It's a divine assignment. So let them wonder how you did it. Let them scramble to explain your success. Your job isn't to convince. It's to conquer. The blueprint? Simple. Number 1, work like a ghost, visible only through impact. 2, let your results drop like earthquakes, unexpected, undeniable. And thirdly, watch how silence becomes your loudest flex. The question isn't, who believes in me? It's what will I build with this unstoppable focus? Clock in. The world adjusts to your frequency now. Let me tell you something about power moves, the kind that change your life forever. When people hit you with that fake concern, that seems risky, or are you sure about this? Don't be fooled. That's not care. That's control. They're not worried about you. They're uncomfortable with your courage. Because while they're stuck in what if, you're charging into what will be. But here's the game changer. When you move in silence, you strip them of their power. No debates, no discouragement, no energy vampires sucking the life out of your dreams. They don't get a say because they don't even know the plan. And by the time they figure it out, it's already done. Your success isn't up for discussion. It's a fait accompli. Too many people think talking equals progress. Newsflash. Announcing your goals doesn't make you ambitious. Executing them does. The world's most successful people don't broadcast their next move, they make it. They don't explain themselves to skeptics. They outwork them. They don't need applause during the grind. They collect it at the finish line. This is the unshakable truth. Real power doesn't make noise. It makes history. So ask yourself, are you here to talk about greatness or to build it? The mic drop moment isn't in the announcement, it's in the achievement. Now, what's your next silent, unstoppable move? Let me tell you something crucial about your dreams in their rawest form. They're like newborn flames. That idea burning inside you, in its early stages, it's fragile, vulnerable. It hasn't had time to build armor, to develop roots, to become unshakable. And if you expose it too soon, the winds of doubt, the storms of negativity, the hailstorms of unnecessary opinions can extinguish it before it ever gets its chance to blaze. That's why silence is your shield. You wouldn't plant a seed and then dig it up every day to show people, would you? No. You'd water it in private, let it strengthen underground. Give it time to push through the soil on its own terms. Your dreams deserve that same respect, that same protected space to grow before facing the world. But here's the real power play. When you move in silence, you become unstoppable. People can't prepare for what they don't see coming. They can't block what they don't know exists. While they're sleeping on you, you're stacking wins. While they're guessing, you're grinding. And by the time they realize what you've built, it's too late to stop you. The foundation is poured, the walls are up, the victory is already yours. That's the advantage of the silent grinders. They don't announce the storm, they become it. And when they arrive, the world has no choice but to make way. So ask yourself, are you going to keep giving your power away in words? Or are you ready to let your work speak in thunder? The choice is yours. The time is now. Build in silence. Shock them with your success. Listen up, because this truth will change how you chase your dreams. That rush you feel when you tell people your goals, that's not progress. That's an illusion. You get the dopamine hit of accomplishment without doing the actual work. Talking about it makes you feel like you're moving, but real growth only happens in the grind, in those quiet hours when it's just you and your commitment. As Proverbs 14:23 says, All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Every time you announce your plans prematurely, you're trading real momentum for cheap validation. Silence isn't about hiding, it's about honoring your vision enough to protect it. From distractions, from doubters, from your own temptation to substitute talk for action. Here's the raw difference. Us explain their dreams. Doers build them in silence. The less you say, the more you do. The fewer people know, the fewer can interfere. When you remove the need for outside approval, you unlock a terrifying level of focus. No debates, no distractions, just you and the relentless pursuit of what you said you'd do. So ask yourself, are you collecting applause or building evidence? The world's full of people who talk a good game, but the future belongs to those who play it in silence. Now, what will you do today that needs no announcement? Let me tell you something about discipline that will change everything for you. The more you shut out the noise, the more power you have to actually make things happen. And when those results start rolling in, you won't need to say a word. Success speaks for itself. But here's where most people lose their way. They get so caught up watching everyone else's race that they forget to run their own. Scrolling, comparing, measuring their progress against someone else's highlight reel. Seeing people buy houses, launch businesses, travel the world, and suddenly they feel behind. Like they're not doing enough, not moving fast enough, not enough, period. But here's the truth. The problem isn't your progress, it's your focus. The moment you stop looking sideways and start locking in on your path, everything changes. You stop caring about someone else's timeline. You stop measuring your success by their milestones. You realize deep in your bones that your journey is yours alone. Some people will sprint ahead. Some will take the scenic route. Some will seem like they've got it all figured out until life humbles them. But none of that matters, because what's for you won't miss you. Comparison, that's the thief of joy and progress. You could be making real moves, stacking real wins, but the second you see someone else's highlight, you start questioning everything. You forget how far you've come because you're too busy obsessing over where they are. But here's what you're not seeing. The sleepless nights they don't post. The failures they hide. The struggles they edit out. You're comparing your raw, unfiltered grind to their curated victory lap. And that's a losing game. So here's your power move. Eyes on your own paper. Focus on your own race. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because your future does. Discipline isn't just about working hard. It's about working undistracted. No more comparing. No more doubting. Just you, your grind, and the unwavering belief that what's yours will find you if you stay in your lane and keep moving. Now, whose journey are you focused on? Let me tell you something about success that most people never figure out. The moment you stop competing with people who aren't even running your race, that's when you actually start winning. You stop chasing things just because others have them. You stop letting their path distract you from yours. Just because someone else is hustling in one direction doesn't mean it's yours. Just because they're winning their way doesn't mean it's the way you're meant to go. Here's the raw truth. Most people fail because they keep switching lanes. They see someone else winning, so they abandon their own grind to chase that. Then another trend pops up and they pivot again. Another success story, another detour. They're always moving, but never progressing. Because you can't build momentum if you're always changing direction. Success isn't about speed, it's about depth. It's about staying in your lane long enough to master it, long enough to break through, long enough for the seeds you've planted to finally bear fruit. But here's where most people lose. They get impatient. They see someone else's harvest and wonder why theirs isn't ready yet. They forget that growth happens underground before it ever breaks the surface. So let me remind you, just because you don't see results yet doesn't mean you're not making progress. Just because others are ahead right now doesn't mean you're behind. Just because your journey looks different doesn't mean it's wrong. The only way to lose is to quit. The only way to fail is to stop tending your own garden because you're too busy staring at someone else's. Stay locked in, keep working, keep learning, keep showing up. Your time isn't coming. It's being built. And every silent, unseen effort is another brick in the foundation of your inevitable rise. Now, whose lane are you staying in? Let me tell you something that will set you free right here, right now. Just because someone else crossed the finish line before you doesn't mean you're losing. The only race that matters is the one against your former self. When you lock in on your own path, something magical happens. You start falling in love with the process. The daily grind stops feeling like a burden and becomes your sacred ritual. You stop obsessing over the destination and start appreciating the small victories no one sees, the lessons that shape your character, the quiet moments of growth. They don't make the highlight. Here's the truth they don't tell you. Success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the pursuit. The discipline you develop, the resilience you build, the version of yourself that emerges when you stay faithful to your vision. And let's be real, people will always have opinions. Doesn't matter if you're building a business, chasing a dream, or simply trying to better your life, someone will always have something to say. They'll question your moves, critique your progress, pretend they know what's best for you. But here's where most people go wrong. They let those outside voices become their inner dialogue. They start hesitating, second-guessing, wondering if maybe the doubters are right. Don't make that mistake. The world wasn't transformed by people who waited for permission or needed constant validation. Every great legacy was built by those who kept their eyes on their own paper while the critics were busy talking. Your journey isn't about beating others to the finish line. It's about becoming the person who can handle the success when it comes, about developing the strength to carry the weight of your dreams. So keep moving, keep growing, keep your eyes fixed on your own path, because when you do, you'll arrive right where you're meant to be at exactly the right time. Now, whose voice are you going to listen to? The doubters or the divine calling inside you? The choice is yours. The time is now. Let me tell you something about doubt that will change everything for you. That voice in your head questioning if you're good enough. Those people telling you it won't work. They only have the power you give them. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That means the doubt trying to paralyze you, it's not yours to carry. Here's the raw truth. When people doubt you, it's rarely about you. It's about their own limitations, their own fears, their own failures. They're looking at your dreams through their broken lenses clouded by what they couldn't achieve. But their limitations don't define your potential. What didn't work for them doesn't mean it won't work for you. Maybe you've got the grit they lacked, the vision they couldn't see, the persistence they never cultivated. Your path is yours alone. Stop letting people who quit tell you what's possible. And let's be real. Some people don't want to see you win. Your growth holds up a mirror to their stagnation. Your success reminds them of what they haven't done. So instead of improving themselves, they'll try to shrink you. Those backhanded comments, the subtle discouragement, that's not about your capability, it's about their insecurity. But here's your power move. Let your progress be your response. Let your hustle be so loud it drowns out their doubts. Every win, every step forward proves what you knew all along. You were always capable. The only approval you needed was your own. Now ask yourself, will you let doubters write your story, or will you silence them with your success? The pen is in your hands. Write boldly. Let me tell you how champions deal with doubters. Listen close, because this is game-changing. The moment you start arguing with doubters, you've already lost. You don't negotiate with distractions. You don't debate with disbelief. Your only job? Outwork their doubts until their words mean nothing. Let them whisper, let them smirk, let them assume you'll fail. Your silence isn't weakness, it's warfare. While they're busy talking, you'll be busy building. While they're predicting your downfall, you'll be proving them wrong. With every ounce of sweat, every late night, every ounce of grit, you pour into your craft. Here's the truth. If nobody's doubting you, your dreams are too small. Every legend had a chorus of critics. Every breakthrough was called impossible before it was inevitable. The difference between those who make history and those who watch it, the greats didn't waste energy fighting doubt. They used it as fuel. But here's where most people get it twisted. They chase success like it's a middle finger to their haters. They think, when I make it, they'll finally see. No. That's still giving doubters power over your destiny. Real victory is when you wake up one day and realize you don't even care what the doubters think anymore. When your purpose burns so bright that their opinions can't even touch you. When your success speaks so loud their doubts get drowned in the roar. So here's your new mantra. I don't prove, I do. No explanations, no justifications, just relentless, silent execution. Let your results drop like earthquakes, unexpected, undeniable, shaking the very ground they stood on when they said you couldn't. The final boss move when they finally acknowledge your greatness. You will already be miles ahead, chasing your next horizon. Now, whose voice are you letting write your story? The doubters or the unstoppable force inside you? The choice is yours. The time is now. Let me tell you the liberating truth about success. The moment you stop performing for doubters is the moment you truly begin winning. When you're obsessed with proving people wrong, you're still handing them the remote control to your life. Their doubt becomes your motivation. Their words become your compass. And even if you do succeed, they'll just move the goalposts. You got lucky. It's not that impressive. Anyone could have done it. Some people need to believe your success was a fluke because admitting you earned it would force them to confront their own mediocrity. But here's the breakthrough. What if you stopped caring if they ever admit they were wrong? The second you shift from proving them wrong to proving yourself right, everything changes. Now you're not grinding out of spite, you're building out of belief. Not for applause, but for the raw satisfaction of knowing you could. Not to shut up the critics, but to meet the potential you know is inside you. Real success isn't measured by who's watching, it's measured by who you become. It's looking in the mirror and knowing you didn't cut corners. It's the quiet pride of outworking your own limits. It's the freedom of creating a life so fulfilling that outsider opinions can't touch it. Too many people spend decades chasing trophies for an audience that never cared. They sacrifice their peace for a hollow victory, only to realize the very people they wanted to impress still aren't impressed. Don't let that be you, your validation. It's in the sweat, your proof. It's in the progress, your victory. It's in waking up excited about your journey, not theirs. So drop the need for witnesses. The world's most extraordinary lives weren't built for spectators. They were built in spite of them. Now ask yourself, are you here to perform or to become? The choice is yours. The time is now. Let me tell you what happens when you finally break free from needing outside approval. You start moving with purpose, not performance. Suddenly, your goals aren't about what looks good on Instagram or impressing people who never believed in you. They're about your vision, your growth. You start celebrating the small wins in private because you know their worth doesn't depend on applause. You fall in love with the grind, not just the glory, because you realize the journey is where you're forged into the person capable of handling success. But here's the catch. This shift doesn't happen by accident. It takes ruthless focus. It means silencing the noise of others' expectations and listening to the quiet voice inside you that says, this is who I'm meant to be. The doubters, they fade into the background. The skeptics, irrelevant. The only question that matters now is, can you look in the mirror and say, I did this for me? Now let's talk about the real secret. Discipline. Not motivation, not talent, not luck. Discipline. Because motivation is a fair weather friend. It shows up when the sun's shining, but bails at the first sign of clouds. Discipline is your anchor. It's what drags you out of bed when every cell in your body wants to hit snooze. It's what keeps you working when the initial excitement fades. It's the non-negotiable commitment to showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. Most people never reach their potential because they're waiting for a sign, for perfect conditions, for some magical burst of inspiration. But winners, they understand a brutal truth. Success isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do when you feel like quitting. Discipline means writing the chapter when the muse doesn't show up, placing up your shoes when the couch screams your name, grinding in the shadows so your success can shine in the light. It's not glamorous, it's not viral, but it's everything. Because while everyone else is waiting for the right time, disciplined people are making time. While others are hoping for motivation, you're building momentum. So tell me, when the distractions come, when the doubt creeps in, when the world tries to pull you off course, what will you choose? The temporary comfort of quitting, or the lifelong pride of knowing you stayed true to yourself? The clock's ticking. Your legacy is waiting. Get to work. Let me tell you the raw truth about discipline. It's not a prison. It's your passport to freedom. Anyone can stay disciplined when the sun is shining and the wind's at their back. But the real test, what do you do when the storm hits? When progress crawls? When you're exhausted, discouraged, and wondering if it's even worth it? That's the fork in the road where most people turn back, but not you. Here's the secret. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about power. The power to control your future instead of leaving it to chance. The power to say no to distractions and hell yes to your potential. Without it, you're just a passenger in your own life, letting procrastination steer, laziness navigate, and inconsistency slam on the brakes every time you gain momentum. But when you master discipline, you don't need motivation. You don't need cheerleaders. You become the force that moves you forward automatically. You build routines so solid they feel like second nature. You create systems that make success unavoidable. You stop negotiating with weakness and start operating from strength. And here's the beautiful irony. People think discipline is a life sentence to misery. Wrong. Discipline is your shortcut to peace. No more panic before deadlines. No more guilt over wasted time. No more watching opportunities slip through your fingers because you weren't prepared. Discipline trades last-minute chaos for calm, stress for strategy, and someday for today. So ask yourself, when the grind gets hard, when doubt whispers and fatigue screams, what will you choose? The temporary relief of quitting, or the lifelong pride of knowing you didn't just weather the storm, you danced in the rain? The world's waiting for your comeback. Make it legendary. Let me tell you about the superpower that turns what if into I did. Discipline. Every morning you choose to wake up early, every page you read, every workout you crush. These aren't just tasks. They vote for the person you're becoming. And here's the magic. Small wins compound into unshakable confidence. You stop worrying about missed opportunities because you're too busy creating them. You stop feeling out of control because you've built systems that guarantee progress. Discipline isn't about drastic overhauls. It's about daily deposits. That 30 minutes earlier, It's you buying back your future. Those 10 pages, they're rewiring your mindset. Those gym sessions, you're not just building muscle, you're forging mental toughness. And here's the life-changing shift. The more you practice discipline, the more it becomes your identity. You stop being someone who tries, you become someone who does. While others are drowning in regret over yesterday's laziness, you're too busy celebrating today's progress. But the real payoff? When you look back years from now, you won't see a trail of excuses, you'll see a legacy of proof. Proof that when you said you'd change, you meant it. Proof that ordinary people can create extraordinary lives. One disciplined choice at a time. The pain of discipline lasts minutes. The pain of regret lasts a lifetime. So what's your next deposit? The clock's ticking. Your future self is watching. Make them proud.